Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that takes your sources, extracts the most important insights, and turns information into genuine understanding. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a fascinating guide titled Essential English Phrases, a Daily Life Guide. If you're looking to truly master everyday English, maybe add more nuance and precision to your communication, or, well, simply to express yourself more naturally, this deep dive is absolutely for you.
Yeah, our mission today is really to unpack these common phrases. We want to move beyond just the simple definitions and explore their subtle differences. We want to show you how using the right word or phrase can, elevate your English from merely functional to truly expressive. It's almost like painting with words. You'll see how even slight variations in, say, a verb can completely change the picture you're painting.
Okay, so let's explore this verbal toolkit you're about to expand. Right, we're starting with verbs that describe pretty fundamental actions, but as you'll quickly realize, the English language offers this rich spectrum of choices. They add incredible layers of meaning. Let's begin with the verbs of looking. So we all look at things like, look at that beautiful sunset. Simple enough, right? But then we encounter squint. For example, you had to squint to read the small print. I'm curious, what does squint immediately tell us beyond just, well, seeing?
Well, what's really fascinating here is how squint instantly implies effort, a struggle to see. It's often because of poor light or tiny text. It's not just seeing, it's straining to see. This verb immediately adds a layer of context, maybe even discomfort or determination to the act.
That makes so much sense. Okay, then we have stare, as in don't stare at people, it's rude, and glare. She glared at him after the argument.
Wow.
How do these particular choices influence the way we understand the scene or, the person's intent?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, choosing stare implies prolonged looking, often impolite, maybe even unsettling. It can make the person staring seem socially awkward or even a bit threatening sometimes. Glare, on the other hand, that adds a strong, unmistakable emotion anger. Or fierce disapproval. Imagine you're telling a story about a tense meeting. Saying she looked at him angrily is fine, sure, but saying she glared at him across the table instantly conveys the specific kind of intense, maybe intimidating anger. It shows the simmering conflict without needing to say more. It gives you immediate insight into the character's emotional state.
Yeah, that's a great example. Precise word choice really sharpens the narrative. Okay, let's shift focus now. Let's talk about verbs of consuming liquids. Beyond just drink, we have swallow, like he swallowed the medicine quickly.
Swallow is very direct, isn't it? It's about the pure act of ingestion, often without much thought to taste or enjoyment. It implies efficiency, maybe even necessity.
Right. And then the action really changes with words like sip, she sipped her tea slowly, versus chug, he chugged the whole bottle. What do these verbs tell us about the person or the situation itself?
This is where we really see the pace and quantity come to life. Sip paints a picture of slowness, carefulness, maybe even appreciation or leisure. You might sip a fine wine or hot tea, right? Chug, however, that's fast. It often implies consuming a large amount quickly, maybe out of thirst, eagerness, or even desperation. It tells you a lot about the context of little. I mean, no one sips water after running marathon. They chug it. These verbs are perfect examples of how a single word can convey so much information about the action and even the person doing it.
It's incredible how much one verb can communicate. Okay, next up, verbs of eating. We all eat, naturally, but we also nibble. She nibbled on some biscuits.
Nibble suggests small, hesitant bites, doesn't it? It can imply a lack of great hunger or a delicate approach to food, maybe even a nervous habit. Someone might nibble when they're not very hungry, or perhaps when they're trying to eat daintily.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have gobble up. The kids gobbled up the pizza. And devour. He devoured the burger in seconds. What kind of picture do these words paint for us?
Oh, these verbs vividly describe the speed and enthusiasm of eating. Gobble up often implies children or a very eager, maybe slightly messy consumption. Think of dog eating quickly. Devour, though, that implies consuming something completely and quickly, often with great hunger or passion, even a sense of fierce enjoyment. Choosing devour instead of just eat isn't only about speed, it's about conveying that primal hunger or immense satisfaction. It makes your description much more visceral, more engaging for the listener.
Visceral, yeah, good word. Finally, for this action-oriented section, let's look at verbs of cleaning. Beyond just clean, we have Tidy up. Let's tidy up the living room.
Right. Tidy up implies organizing, putting things in their proper place, making things neat. It's about creating order rather than necessarily scrubbing away dirt, you know. You might tidy up a desk, but you wouldn't tidy up a greasy pan.
Makes sense. Then there's wash. Please wash your hands before eating. And scrub. I had to scrub the floor to remove the stain. What's the core difference in effort and intent here?
Well, wash is a general cleaning action, usually involving water and soap, for basic hygiene or superficial dirt. Scrub, though, that emphasizes vigorous rubbing, hard effort. It implies a difficult stain or a need for intense, deep cleaning. So these verbs show different levels of effort and the specific challenge being faced.
Okay, from describing actions, let's transition. Let's talk about describing conditions and our interactions with the environment. We'll start with adjectives for dryness. Beyond simply dry, we encounter parched. I'm parched after the hike.
Parched. That's a much stronger, more intense form of dry, almost always associated with extreme thirst in living beings or severely dry land. It conveys an acute, uncomfortable lack of moisture. When you say you're parched, the listener immediately feels your discomfort.
Right, and then withered. The flower's withered without water.
Withered specifically describes something that has shriveled, drooped, or dried up, often leading to decay, particularly for plants. It speaks to a past state of vitality that's been lost. These distinctions are so important because they allow you to craft much more precise, more evocative descriptions. You instantly paint a more vivid picture for your listener.
Absolutely. Okay, next. Verbs of watering. Of course we water plants, but also mist. She misted the leaves every morning.
Mist refers to applying a very fine spray, often gently and carefully, maybe for delicate plants or to create a specific atmospheric effect. This differs significantly from spray. He sprayed water on the flowers, which can be more forceful or cover a larger area.
Right, and then we have drench. We got drenched in the rain.
Drench. That implies a thorough wetting to the point of being completely soaked. You don't get misted in the rain, you get drenched. These verbs powerfully illustrate the degree and method of applying water. Gives you a full spectrum to choose from.
Okay, let's look at verbs of breathing exertion. Beyond just breathe, we have sigh. She sighed with relief.
Sigh. It conveys emotion, doesn't it? Relief, sadness, exasperation, all through the act of exhaling. It's a nonverbal cue that speaks volumes about a character's internal state. You don't need any other words.
Then there's gasp. He gasped when he saw the snake. And pant. The dog was panting after running. What kind of physical or emotional states do these different breathing actions instantly reveal?
Well, gasp is a sudden, sharp intake of breath, often from shock, surprise, fear, or maybe a sudden realization. It's involuntary and impactful. Pant is rapid, shallow breathing, usually from physical exertion or heat. Think about how these verbs enrich a narrative. Hearing someone gasp tells you they've just encountered something shocking, while panting tells you they've been running or exerting themselves, immediately establishes a physical context.
Yeah, very effective. Lastly to this segment, verbs of resting. Beyond simply lay down, we have lounge. She lounged on the sofa all evening.
Lounge. It implies a relaxed, often sprawling, comfortable posture, suggests leisure, ease, perhaps even a bit of idleness. It's about taking your time to relax.
Then recline. He reclined his seat during the flight. And sprawl out. The kids sprawled out on the floor.
Recline is typically about adjusting a seat or body position to a more relaxed angle, often in a controlled way, like on an airplane seat. Sprawl out, however, that suggests stretching out in an uncoordinated, often untidy or maybe unconscious way, taking up a lot of space. These verbs offer different nuances of relaxation, body position, and even a level of intention behind the rest.
Now, a topic that truly resonates with us here on the Deep Dive. Verbs of learning. We all learn, of course, but there's so much more to how we actually acquire knowledge. So beyond learn, we have take in. There was too much information to take in. What's happening when we take in information?
Well, take in refers to the initial processing and comprehension of information. It's about receiving and starting to understand facts or ideas. It might imply a large volume of data coming your way, maybe even feeling a bit overwhelming.
Okay, and then there's absorb. He absorbed every word of the lecture. Followed by master. I want to master public speaking. How to absorb and master deep in this learning journey.
Right. Absorb signifies a deeper level of taking in, where information isn't just processed, but truly integrated and understood on a fundamental level. It becomes part of your knowledge base. Master, however, that's the pinnacle. It means achieving full proficiency, expertise, or complete command over a skill or subject. This provides a clear spectrum, you see, from initial exposure to complete command. Why is this distinction important for you? Because it helps you articulate not just that you're learning, but how deeply you're engaging with the material and what your ultimate learning goals are.
This next section is crucial, I think, for fluent and empathetic conversations, helping you navigate social interactions with greater ease. We're looking at phrases for understanding and not understanding. First up, asking for information indirectly. Instead of a direct, "Where is the bank?" we can soften it significantly with phrases like, "Do you happen to know where the bank is?" Or, "Do you have any idea if she's coming today?" And, "I'd like to know if the class is canceled." What's the power behind using these indirect approaches?
They're incredibly powerful for maintaining politeness and building rapport, especially in professional or more formal settings. Do you happen to know softens a direct question. It implies it's perfectly fine if the person doesn't know, making it less demanding. I'd like to know conveys a desire for information while showing respect for the other person. It frames your question as a request rather than a demand. It's all about navigating social situations gracefully.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about checking for understanding. Beyond, do you understand that we have, do you know what I mean? This is really important. Do you know what I mean?
This phrase is a direct yet conversational way to solicit feedback on comprehension, to make sure your message is actually getting across. It's an invitation for the listener to engage and confirm.
Or, are you following? I'm explaining fast. Are you following? And the concise, got it. This is the final step. Got it.
These phrases are essential for real-time, interactive communication. They let you gauge your listener's comprehension on the fly, and they encourage active listening and participation, turning a monologue into a dialogue.
Right. For affirming understanding, we have, "I get you." Doherty, "I get you." And, "Are we on the same page?" Just check, are we on the same page?
I get you is a casual and reassuring way to confirm understanding. Friendly, are we on the same page, is vital for ensuring mutual agreement or shared understanding of a situation, especially crucial in teamwork or complex discussions where alignment is absolutely key.
Moving to polite interruptions. Sometimes you just need to jump into a conversation. Excuse me, may I have a word?" As in, "Excuse me, may I have a word in private?"
This is a very formal and a highly polite way to request a private conversation or to interject when someone is speaking. It signals respect for the current speaker's turn.
Or, the slightly more direct but still polite, "Do you mind if I jump in here with a suggestion?"
This phrase clearly expresses consideration for the current speaker. You're asking for permission before interjecting. It's a way of saying, look, I have something to add, but I respect your speaking time.
Okay, for those times when you simply didn't hear something, how do you politely ask for clarification? Sorry, I didn't catch that last word.
That's a clear and polite way to ask for a repetition of specific information. It pinpoints exactly what you missed. Very useful.
Or, is it possible to repeat that sentence again? And I'm sorry, can you say that again?
These are essential for ensuring accurate information uptake when you've missed something. They convey politeness while clearly indicating a need for clarification. No ambiguity.
And finally, do you mind if I interrupt you for a second?
This phrase shows deference to the current speaker. It directly asks for their permission to interject, which is always good conversational etiquette and helps maintain a smooth flow.
Okay, let's tackle agreeing or disagreeing. From strong agreement like totally and absolutely to the simpler right and great. What do these different levels of agreement convey?
Well, these phrases provide a whole range of ways to express positive affirmation, from enthusiastic, full-throated agreement like totally, to just a simple, polite acknowledgement like right. Choosing the right one can convey genuine excitement or just casual understanding.
And then the nuanced disagreements. This is interesting. I see your point, but I have another suggestion.
This is a fantastic example of empathetic disagreement. You're acknowledging the other person's perspective before presenting your own. It encourages critical thinking by inviting multiple viewpoints while preserving the conversational flow and, importantly, the relationship. It's how you introduce a new idea without just shutting down the existing one.
Or softer forms of disagreement. That's the best way. I'm not so sure about that.
Right. This expresses hesitation or doubt without direct confrontation. It opens the door for further discussion rather than stating a firm negative, more collaborative.
And dogs are better than cats. That's not always true.
Yeah, this challenges a generalization by pointing out exceptions. It prompts the other person to consider a broader perspective.
Then more direct disagreements. I don't agree with your opinion. And is he coming tonight? I don't think so.
These range from polite but firm disagreement, I don't agree, to expressing doubt or negative expectation, I don't think so. It just highlights that disagreement can be expressed in various tones, from a mild challenge to a clear difference of opinion. The key is choosing the tone that fits the situation.
Okay, to wrap up our deep dive into these essential phrases, let's look at some quick phrases for daily life. These are the expressions that will make you sound truly natural and casual, almost effortless. First, gotcha. This phrase is surprisingly versatile, isn't it? Two distinct meanings. First, gotcha, I understand what you mean now. And second, with a different tone, you thought I wouldn't find out. Gotcha.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of how context and intonation are everything. It can mean, I understand, a casual affirmation, or it can mean, I caught you, often in a playful or triumphant sense, like catching someone in a white lie or something. It's a very common informal phrase.
Then, never mind. For example, you spilled the water. Never mind, I'll clean it.
Yeah, this is commonly used to dismiss something as unimportant, or to tell someone not to worry about it, or even to indicate that what you were maybe about to say isn't relevant anymore. Oh, never mind.
And essential for when you need to make a quick exit. Gotta go, gotta run, blah, 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 blah. As in, sorry, I gotta run. Talk to you later.
Very common, very informal ways to indicate you need to depart quickly. It's short, sweet, gets the message across.
For reassuring someone, we have no worries, no problem. Like, thanks for helping, no worries.
These are incredibly casual and friendly ways to say, you're welcome, or to indicate that something isn't a burden or inconvenience. They foster a relaxed, supportive atmosphere. Really common.
To express surprise or disbelief. For real.
Yeah.
As in, you met a celebrity. For real.
This is an informal, colloquial way to ask if something is true or serious. Signals genuine surprise or maybe a bit of skepticism.
And a bonus phrase.
Right.
What's that? Again, two uses depending on your tone and the context.
Mm-hmm.
First, what's that on the table? And second, maybe leaning in, what's that? I couldn't hear you.
This perfectly illustrates how a single phrase can have completely different meanings based purely on context and intonation. It could be asking about an object, or it could be a request for repetition when you've missed something. Language is flexible.
And that concludes our deep dive into essential English phrases, a daily life guide. We've moved beyond just simple definitions to explore the rich nuances, the emotional weight, and the practical applications of these everyday expressions.
Yeah, our goal was really to provide you with a shortcut to being well-informed, giving you not just words, but the power to use them with precision and confidence in your daily interactions. We truly hope you've had plenty of aha moments about how choosing the right word can convey exactly what you mean.
So what does all of this mean for you, the listener? It means you now have a sharper toolkit to express yourself more clearly, understand others more deeply, and navigate conversations with greater ease and authenticity.
And this raises an important question for you to consider. How will understanding the subtle power of these phrases change how you not only speak, but also how you listen, how you interpret the world around you, especially in those nuanced, unsaid moments?
Yeah, think about how mastering these subtle differences can transform your speaking, your listening, and ultimately your understanding of the world around you. It's about more than just words. It's about connection. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those important questions.